Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of this video. Before we go any further, I would like to say that part 1 is in the description down below, so definitely check that out first if you haven't watched it already. I will also be linking it at the end of this video, so yeah, either way be sure to check it out. But there's some awesome snakes and behavior in both of these videos. If you have watched part 1 already, there is a really interesting turn of events in this video, and again, just some really beautiful snakes and incredible behavior. So yeah, stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's now day number 3 of looking for timber rattlesnakes up here, and today is much cloudier, so obviously I'll have a lot more time to look for snakes. And I'm hoping to see some newborn neonate timbers today to kind of complete the saga. Yesterday was an incredible day, but it's looking like today might be even better. So with that being said, right here we have a nice little eastern garter snake. This is a pretty common color phase up here in the high elevations. You see it's sort of a gray, but it has a nice bluish tint here on the belly and a little bit on the side as well. Really clean looking snake. These snakes are really chill up here. This time of the morning they are cool, so they are content to just sit in your hand and warm up. So always cool to work with them, but I'm just going to put this little guy right here. Well, he don't want to go in the crevice, but they typically hang out in these little grassy clearings here. So yeah, really cool snakes, but I'm going to kill a little more time here, and hopefully we will be seeing some timber soon. So I decided to stop off here at this nice little rock ledge where I found a really gorgeous pair of timber rattlesnakes the other day. You can see them earlier in this video. I'm sure you have by now if you're watching this. But right here is the female that was here the other day, basically in the same spot. She appears to be gravid. And right here is the black phase male that was here with her. But we have a different snake in the mix, and it is actually the female that was in some of my most recent clips breeding with another male further down this spur. And you can identify her by the scar on her head. You can compare the clips and tell it is definitely the same snake. And what's insane about this is she has now locked tails with this larger black phase male here that's been hanging out with this gravid female here for quite a while now. And as I started the video, I'm now filming these two breeding. This is incredible. I don't really know what to say or think right now, but this can't be made up. I mean, look. They have locked tails and I'm standing right above them here. Filming this as it's happening. So 2 days in a row now I have found two breeding pairs, but the female has been the same. And yeah, this is really strange to see, because this darker female here that's in shed appears to be gravid, and I would say she is, she probably bred with this black phase male here earlier this year. And my buddy who comes up here has been finding these two together for quite a while, but has not seen any other snakes in the mix. But now, this black phase male is breeding this little yellow phase female here that was just with another male yesterday. So I don't know what's going on, but hey, I'm getting to film more breeding and courtship, so doesn't get any better than that. And again, you really can't make this stuff up. This appears to be the male that was engaged in the breeding activity
yesterday that was with the female that I just filmed, and he is now down here by himself in this clearing. And now that he is fully out away from those rocks, he is actually a pretty large snake. Nice, nice long rattle. I can't really tell how many buttons is on that, but it's quite a few. Pretty good length too, considering that most of this population actually appears to be dwarfed because they grow super slow, and the lack of prey items combined with the short season just really makes for a lot of small snakes in this population. But this is a really good sized male here, almost as big as the other one. Really they're about the same length, but this one is just not quite as stocky. But he's just came out here in this little clearing by this mashed can here. I'm not sure where that came from. That was not here yesterday, but yeah, he's not far down from where I seen him breeding in some of the previous clips. So apparently the little yellow-faced female has left him and moved on up to the larger male further up the spur. Again, these are just little clearings here. You see there's lots of reindeer moss, lots of thickets. Some of them are huckleberry thickets actually. And you see there's some crevices here under these rocks. So these snakes have clearings, they have shade in case it gets too hot. They really have everything they need here. But I'm just going to get some good pictures of this big guy here and keep on walking down this spur, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more snakes today, and hopefully some more interesting behavior as well. Alright, it's hard to tell, but these snakes are still locked up here. They're just kind of sitting still now and not really doing much, so that's kind of a bummer. I was hoping to film some really cool behavior. But they will be here if I want to check on them later. As you can see, the big gravid female here has moved up a little bit. I'm expecting her to drop babies in this crevice right here any day now. I still can't believe I have filmed 2 breeding pairs in 2 days. That's just absolutely insane. Even though it's the same female, the fact that it's 2 different males in a short stretch makes it even crazier. But these snakes will be here when I come back later, so I'm going to check some more spots now because the sun is starting to come out, and we will see what we can find. I'm now at my next spot for the day, and it is this beautiful high elevation talus field here. Now there's a common misconception about habitat like this, and that is that you will see snakes just out in the open anywhere, laying all over these rocks, basking and whatnot. That's not really the case. That's not how you are going to find them here. Now when I first discovered these places, that was my initial thought as well. But believe it or not, these talus fields are actually the most difficult place to find timber rattlesnakes on this mountain. And typically where you see them is not out in the actual talus where they are exposed, but more along the edges of it, like this little area up here. You see there's lots of rock crevices. They have options to get in the shade, but they're still here close where they can come out to bask. Also, they will use little flat mossy areas down in between the rocks. Like this right here, you see there's a crevice right here and a nice little flat place up top to sit. So those kinds of areas can be good habitat as well. But what you typically do not see here are snakes just laying out in the open on these rocks. That's just not the case. And it can be really fun herping this habitat up here because, again, they can be a real challenge to find. So you have to walk through hundreds, if not thousands, of rocks here in some of these piles and look for the perfect little spots. But I'm going to keep on climbing through this beautiful habitat here, and we should be seeing some more snakes soon. If you look closely, it's really hard to see, but there's a nice little rusty brown, almost a maroon coloration eastern garter snake here wedged into this rock crevice. Super tight crevice. My flash is kind of going through it here. There we go. Really nice little eastern garter snake. Again, I'm up here in these talus fields. Right here is a perspective of the crevice. And if you look around me here, you see there's some ideal basking habitat for timber rattlesnakes here. The flatter areas of the talus like this near the top of them are what you want to look for. You want to look for little clearings
like all that moss over there. So I'm going to keep hiking through this here, and we will see what we can find.
So I just made it back here to check on the new breeding pair, and just like that, they have magically disappeared, but the big gravid female is still hanging out here. I don't see the male or that little female anywhere here. If I had to guess, I would say it was when the sun came out earlier and they have went underneath one of these rock crevices here. I can't picture them wandering too far into the growth here while they were still locked up. But I could be wrong. This is a strange population, and it's one of those places where the rules really don't seem to apply. But yeah, here's another shot of this big female here. I'm just going to keep walking this spur and see if I can find any new snakes. Right here is a much better look at this big black phase male timber rattlesnake. Again, this is the snake that was originally breeding the little yellow female earlier in this video. And I also found him this morning laying near that can in that little clearing there, but it was hard to get a good shot of him there. He appears to be reacting to the sunlight here. Now he has moved pretty far just since I found him this morning, but it's somewhat easy to predict where these snakes are going to pop out here in these little clearings. Now that he is stretched out, it really puts the size into perspective. You see he has a really good sized rattle as well. It's always cool to see these large black-faced snakes with really light bodies like this, but still the black head. That is a very small rock crevice he is going into, but there must be a lot of space under there. He seems to know this area pretty well. I'm going to see if I can drop down here and see where he is going exactly. Yeah, that appears to open up down in there. These snakes use really small rocks here, much smaller than what you would expect. You can see his face just a little bit there. And he will likely hang out there in the shade, and as the clouds move back in, he might come out to sit again, but that's how these snakes do. It's just in and out all day. I'm going to watch here and make sure there's not any other snakes and drop down. See if I can get a better shot. Oh, I didn't mean to flip that piece of vegetation up there. I'll have to use my hook to move that. It's hard to see with the lighting, but he's just back in there, peeking out. He has a nice little hidey hole there. But again, you see just tiny little talus rocks here where these snakes come in and out of. Really cool to see, but I'm going to keep walking the spur here and try to turn up some new individuals. Here we go. This is what I was hoping to see today. This is that insanely large black phase male that was courting the other female here by this rock wall yesterday, and I never got to get any good shots of him or show off his full length, but this really puts it into perspective. Just a massive snake. If you look at the rattle here, if it'll focus, I believe it has a total of 13 buttons on it. Absolutely massive. This has to be a very old snake because they grow super slow up here at these elevations. He has came out into this little clearing here just since I was here this morning. Again, he is a male, so he is not a gravid female needing to catch sun to warm her babies or anything. He's just here to getting some of the last good warm sunlight of the season, because once you get into September up here, these snakes start making their way down towards their winter hibernaculums. So yeah, just a stunner of a black-faced timber rattlesnake. This is by far my favorite black-face that I've ever found up here. But I'm just going to get some good pictures of him and leave him where he's at, and we will see what we can find.
So I just made it home, and unfortunately I did not find any other timber rattlesnakes today. But man, what an awesome week it has been. I really couldn't have asked for a more perfect final timber run of 2020. I've basically filmed every color phase imaginable. I've seen some really incredible snakes and some insane behavior to go along with it. So it doesn't get much better than that. But with that being said, I'm going to call it a video here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of that good stuff. And stay tuned for more videos because I'm about to start putting out a lot of content, and there will be a lot of really cool stuff coming your way. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but I will say that you will not want to miss it. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.